Hi everyone, it is Wednesday, March 9th, 2016, and this is episode 60 of Serenova Crafts. I'm your host, Jessica. I can be found as Serenova on Ravelry, Twitter, and occasionally on Periscope, and I can now be found as Serenova Crafts, all one word, on Instagram. I did change my Instagram name. I know I mentioned it last week, but I'm saying it again. Excuse me. My allergies have been really bugging me this morning, so there might be a few jump cuts in this episode. Anyways, back to the intro. You can find the show notes for today's episode on my blog or in the Ravelry group, links down below. And, yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I have a AMA thread and Ask Me Anything thread in the Ravelry group, and I have an introduction thread if you want to go introduce yourself. Like, subscribe, comments, those are all appreciated. And, yeah, I'm just going to get right into it with a little bit of news. My VKN tomorrow, Thursday night, because it is the second Thursday of the month, I have book club. Book club means I don't start my VKN until 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is -5 GMT. So, yeah, so 8:30 p.m. So it's going to be an hour later than normal. So I've decided to put my VKNs back to 7:30, but because this week is the second Thursday of the month, it's going to be at 8:30 instead. So, yeah. And the book we're reading, which I have not yet started, but I need to, because I need to read it for tomorrow night, is Midnight's Children by Salman Rushdie. Never read it before, never even heard of it until because my book club is at my local yarn shop, right? So until my shop owner recommended it, I'd never even heard of this book, because it's not a normal genre that I read. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Like, I have read books for book club that, like, I would have never read otherwise. I don't even know what genre this is. What does the, ISBN? Because they normally have a how to categorize it at the beginning. Because they usually have the categorization info in the front. Random House paperbacks, originally published in Great Britain. Text design, Library of Congress, catalog and publishing data. It just says a novel, so it's just literary fiction. It's just fiction. Which I tend to do subgenres of fiction, not just general adult fiction, so should be interesting. I need to read this by tomorrow night. It is 500 and how many pages? At least in this issue. 533 pages, and this is the 25th anniversary edition, as you can see there. So, I need to read this by 6 p.m. tomorrow. And I have things going on, like I get to go get my taxes done this afternoon. Oh, I forgot to put my second earrings in. I have 2 holes in my ear, and I have the upper earrings in, but I forgot to put the lower ones in. Oh, well. You guys will just get me with one set of earrings today. So, I think that's all the, news, update, random me talk stuff I have to do. Give me a sec and I'll be right back. Alright, so, I have an FO this week. No Jen, the ends are not woven in, so it doesn't count for you, but I don't care. It's done. It's off the needles. That counts as done. It's not blocked yet either. So, you guys remember my cameo from last week. Last week, I had not even yet finished the striped section of the shawl, and look, now it's done. Yay! Woo! Done. As you can see by where the marker is, I knit that much. That much. I can't even tell which way I'm moving my arm right now. I knit that much since you saw it last week, including all the lace and the picot bind off, which made me want to shoot something. I've cast off 2 projects in a row that have both had picot bind offs, and if the next thing I cast off is a picot bind off, I'm going to scream, because they just take so long, it's not even funny. But it's done. Yes, the ends are not woven in. Whatever, I don't care. This yarn is really nice. This is Mad Hatter yarn by, oh crap, I gotta look it up. I'll link my project page so you can see all this. This is Frabulous Fibers Mad Hatter, Vermont dyer. This is the Mad Hatter is her sport weight, and the gray is Hookah Smoke. The gray is Hookah Smoke, and the orange is Pennyworth. I used like 1 and like 1/10 of a skein of the gray. I needed just a little bit more of the gray. I decided to invest in a second skein because I would have almost the whole thing left, and I can still do something with a skein of sport weight. Might be a hat, might be wristers, but I can do something with almost a full skein of sport weight yarn. So I used that, and I used just shy of a full skein of the orange. So there was a big discrepancy in yarn usage between the two. The gray, I used just over a skein, and I used like 4/5 of a skein of the orange. So I can now take the marker out of this since I have shown it to you, and then I am going to weave in the ends and block it. And I normally wouldn't block a garter stitch shawl like this. Like, I'm not blocking my carry shawl, but this has the lace section. And I want the lace section to kind of be a little more lacy. So I'm going to give this a light blocking. Not too hard because I don't want to stretch the garter stitch. It's nice and squishy right now, and I don't want to lose that. So, let's see. I'm just looking how much of the Mad Hatter I have like 300 yards of the gray left. So I can totally do like a pair of wristers or a hat or something with it. So I'm not worried about that. I can do something with that skein. So I felt it was fine to invest in it because it was like no big deal, right? So that's my finished object for today. I'm going to show you the project that's in the naughty corner first because this isn't a whip, but I'm mad at it. So I'm ignoring it for now because I'm an idiot. So these socks, the yarn is dyed this way, right? So it does the stripes, and it has this yellow in it so that, like, the socks will come out perfect because you finish one sock, and then you pull until you hit the next section of yellow, and then you start the other sock, and they should match exactly, right? Well, I'm the idiot who didn't pay attention to what needle size it said on the needle, and moved these from DPNs, which were a 1, to circulars, which were 1.5. Now, I know that's only a 1/4 millimeter difference, but it changes my gauge enough that these socks will be too loose if I keep going. So these are sitting in the naughty corner until which time I have a circular US 1, which is a 2.5? No, 2.25. Yeah, so US 1.5 is a 2.5 millimeter, and US 1 is a 2.25 millimeter. And at which point, so these are on hold and in the naughty corner until I have a US 1 available to knit on because I don't want these to be too big because I want them to fit. So these are in the naughty corner, and you're not going to see them again for a while because I have like 2 other pairs of socks to finish first. Because I have 2 other US 1s, but they're both being used. So that project is in the naughty corner, and it's going to stay under my sewing machine until I'm not mad at it anymore. Or mad at myself for being an idiot and not double checking, right? So, stuff I have been working on. So, first I'm going to show you my socks for 10. The pattern is by CC. Oh, I have it on the iPad right here. Why did I not think to look this up earlier? I don't know. I'm an idiot. Well, I'm not an idiot, but you know what I mean. I should have looked this up before. This is Socks for 10, Doctor Who Inspired Socks by CC Allman. Java Pearl Designs. So, I have turned the heel on the socks. Now I'm doing these 2 at a time, so yes, I'm using the plural. I pulled from the other end of the ball for the heels, so my heels are bright blue. Ta-da! Heels. But I've turned the heel, and I've actually moved on a little bit. So, in another couple of rounds, I'm going to start working the pattern in the round, because when you do the fish lips kiss heel, you need to work like an inch before you start the pattern, because it's technically still part of the heel on the back, so it's just stocking that. So, when I finish this pattern repeat, I'm going to just start working in the round. And that should give me enough length on the back. So, here they are. There, I can stretch it out a little bit for you, and then you can see the pattern. Come out of the way. There we go. You can see the pattern there. See that? And that is where I was last week. I had just, finished the toe and started the pattern, and I have done all of that on both socks since you saw it last week. So, I consider that a success, and then I'm moving along nicely, and I'm happy with them. I'm going to move the markers before I forget. Excuse me. I just burped. You probably didn't hear it, but I was going to say excuse me anyways, because that's how I was raised. Then I got my Sock Club yarn, so this is slightly stashed, but I'll show you the rest of the stash later. Nope, wrong bag. I want that bag, not this bag. So I got my last edition of my Sock Club from my local shop, and so I cast on the socks. This is I've only just started them, so I haven't gotten very far. This is the Nitty pattern, Spring Forward. It's, you can't quite see the lace yet. I mean, if I pull it a little bit, you should be able to see it, but it's being difficult. It's not coming up real well because it's dark. But, this is Sock Club. I got 2 skeins. This is one of them, and I am doing Spring Forward. Like I said, it's a Nitty pattern, link in the show notes. And then the last thing and the yarn is the Woolen Rabbit Pearl, which is an 80% merino, 20% nylon, and the color Grey Goose. And the last thing I've worked on, the only reason I worked on it is because I was sitting around. So the two pairs of socks I have that I can work on right now that aren't in the naughty corner are both 2 at a time patterned lace socks. So they're not just like vanilla socks that I can just have in my purse and pull them out while I'm like standing in line somewhere, right? So instead, I have been carrying around my hitchhiker. So since you last saw it, which it's been like 3 or 4 weeks since you last saw it, I've put 3 teeth on it. So that's where the marker is. I put 3 teeth on it. Now, I am knitting this on US 1.5s because, this is a light fingering weight yarn, and I wanted it to be squishy, so I'm knitting it at a tighter gauge. But I have 2 full skeins, so it will be fine in the end. And the yarn is Lammy Toes Moon Pie Merino, which is, it is a sock weight. It is a sock base. It's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 463 yards to 100 grams, which is why I'm saying it's a light fingering, in the colorway Bad Egg. And I got this, and I could totally make socks out of it, but I got 2 skeins. But I was struggling to figure out what to make with it that would be like a shawl or something, because, I mean, the yarn is so colorful that, like, you can't really, do something with a whole lot of detail. I tried, it didn't work. So I thought a hitchhiker would be a fabulous way to use the yarn. And by the way, Lammy Toes is the shop of Amanda from Not a Podcast. She is Wit on Ravelry, W-I-T. And she dyes gorgeous stuff. I bought a bunch of her yarn last year, and I am slowly using it. Some of it is going to be socks, because she does have sock yarn, but some of it, even though I bought technically sock yarn, is going to be leg shells and stuff. So I have 2 skeins of this Bad Egg, and it is becoming a shawl. Come on, marker, go in. There we go. Ta-da! I moved the marker, so that next time you guys see it, you'll know how far it goes. Though you'll probably be seeing that in front of me. But this is now living in my purse, because I've memorized the pattern for the hitchhiker, so I don't need the pattern in front of me, and it's just garter stitch. So, ta-da! And I think that's everything I've been working on. Should do the thing in timeout. Now, I do have a little bit of stash. So, you just saw my Sock Club socks, which were technically stashed, even though I cast on immediately. And because I double dipped in the club, I got a second skein of yarn. And this is also the Woolen Rabbit, the same yarn Pearl, which is the same base, but this color is Pumpkin Patch, and that's about right there. If I blow out the camera, that's about right. Though it's a little more saturated. About there. That's better. Okay. Right there. It's a gorgeous orange. Absolute gorgeous orange. You can't tell back here. It's not. It's lovely. Absolutely lovely, and I'm really happy with it. I also got some more Woolen Rabbit because it was all at my yarn shop. And this is her Dove base, which is 60% merino, 20% silk, and 20% yak in the Morning Dove colorway. And this is going to become a shawl. And this is not, oh God, this is not representing properly on camera. I'm trying to get it to get the color. Like, I don't care if it's blurry. I'm trying to get the, that's close. Right there, that's close. But it's not, holding it back here is not doing the color justice. It's just not, this is going to be really hard to photograph. But this is going to be a shawl. Haven't quite decided what shawl yet, but it's going to be a shawl. And then lastly, because I'm the idiot who forgets they've joined a fiber club, right? So I was all excited last year to learn that Hello Yarn was doing a waiting list for her fiber club, right? And then, of course, in January, I got the invite, paid for it at the beginning of February, and then completely forgot about it. Completely. I was watching, what is it? Stitch Addiction with Kate, right? And she's like, oh, I got the Hello Yarn, I'm so excited, I got my invite, blah, 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 right? Because I'm watching the back episode, so I'm still, like, back in January, beginning of February here, right? She's talking about it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I should have signed up for that, and completely forgetting I'd signed up for it. And then, of course, what came in the mail last week but the fiber? So this is the Hello Yarn Fiber Club colorway for February 2016. It's fife, or fief, depending on your accent. It's 4 ounces of Shetland. And I'm going to take it out of the bag, so there's going to be crinkling so that you can see it. Now, I have braided it up, because it wasn't braided when it came, because she doesn't braid her fiber. But, to make it easier to store, I braided it. So, here it is. If I turn it like that, you can see the color better. So, it's rich, saturated color. None of them are particularly light, and I'll show you the other side of the braid, too. There you go. See? So, it's not too saturated. It's saturated, but it's not terribly light either, and I'm just really happy with it. I don't think I'm going to order another braid of it, so because I'm broke right now. Also, I don't necessarily need more fiber, but I could still spin this thin enough to get, you know, a decent 2-ply out of it, and then do like a shawl or a scarf, or probably a scarf actually, or maybe some kind of wristers out of it. So, but I do like Shetland, so I'm quite happy with the fiber content, and I'm putting it back in the bag, so excuse the crinkling. And now this is going to go in my fiber stash bin, because I have now shown it to you folks. This was sitting out for the last week. So, I'm really happy. This was a very pleasant surprise to get in the mail. Because I completely forgot, and I signed up for the con. I'm like, oh yeah, I should have done that. I can't believe I missed the deadline, blah, blah, blah. And then it shows up, and I'm like, right. I signed up for that. Good times, good times. I did go to a fiber thing this past weekend, in Wayland, Mass, but I didn't actually buy any fiber or yarn because I'm still like fiber. I was still like fiber and yarned out from the previous weekend, which was spa. Excuse my yawn. But there is something tangent to completely unrelated to knitting whatsoever that I wanted to talk about because, it's been a really big deal for me for the last 14 years that it was on. So, for those of you that don't know or weren't aware or don't follow the show, and I mean, and it's totally fine if you don't, I know it's not for everyone. Mythbusters had their series finale this past weekend. And there's not going to be any more. And I understand the reasons for ending the show, and I'm not, like, mad at the hosts for wanting to do something else. It's completely understandable. They've been doing the show for 14 years. They want to go back to their careers that had kind of gotten put on hold while the show was being made. Jamie wants to go back to doing special effects for movies. Adam wants to move on and do other things. He's got this whole other site. Cary Grant and Tori. I mean, they haven't been in it the last 2 seasons, but they're still part of it. And they want to go back to, you know, where their talents lie and things like that. And it's completely understandable that, you know, they want to go on and live their lives. And, like, I'm not upset with them at all. But at the same time, I'm still sad the show is ending. Because I'm not sure how to put this. Because to me, it was not necessarily... It was important, but it wasn't, like, so important I didn't mind missing an episode when it was on, right? Like, so, it wasn't so important that, like, I didn't let it get in the way of life. But it was important enough that it was, like, the one show I would actually watch when it was on instead of, like, rewatching it later on demand or recording it or whatever. Like, I would make a genuine effort, like, if I could, to be home to watch it when it was on TV. And when the show first came on the air, the original pilot, the first season was in 2003, but the original pilot aired in 2002, and that was, I was in 8th grade, and to me, at the time, I still wanted to be a physics, I still was, at that point in my life, I was determined to be a physicist, or, well, an astrophysicist. I wanted to go into the astronomy side of things, and to see this show that had the scientific method, and yeah, they blow stuff up all the time and stuff like that, but they methodically work through the problem. They methodically go through everything and go, okay, why isn't this working? How do we fix this? What is going on in this? Breaking it down so that you knew all the steps. It was actually a really big inspiration. And it was also just an enjoyable show to watch. Some of the earlier episodes are actually not as nice to watch as some of the later episodes because originally they tried to, like, be more reality-ish and kind of foster this rivalry between Jamie and Adam, and it just didn't really work. And they realized that people were watching it more for the science and the stories than the interpersonal relationship, and so they kind of let that drop after the first season. I mean, they did a few things later on, but they basically just let them be themselves. They didn't, like, push encounters after a while, because they realized that it just wasn't working. And so, but as I grew older and as I, did go on to college, I still kept watching Mythbusters, still kept enjoying it. I enjoyed talking about the episodes with other people about, like, oh, can you believe they did that? Or isn't it fascinating how they built whatever? And, and then the show just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And actually, I was lucky enough to go see one of their live shows when they came to New England a few years ago. It was when Kevin and I, it was like the first or second year Kevin and I were dating. And I'll put some pictures in at the end. They're not the best pictures because we had, like, nosebleed seats up in the balcony, but I'll put the pictures in. It was really fun. I might even have a little bit of video I took at the show. So, I'll put that in. But, yeah, I'm just really gonna miss the show. Like, I know I'm not one who normally gets emotional about TV shows, I think, because normally I just don't care. I don't keep up with, like, all the sitcoms and dramas and all that stuff. I don't watch it. It's not my thing. But Mythbusters was just that one show that I've just stuck with since the beginning. And to see it end, I actually got really emotional on Sunday night, because they had the big finale on Discovery Channel on Saturday night. But then they had a lost episode and a replay of the finale on Science Channel on Sunday night. And on Sunday night, when I knew it was really over and there really wasn't going to be any more episodes, I actually did start crying while watching the last episode, because the show had meant so much to me over the years, because, even though, I eventually changed majors and my degree isn't in science, because there's a lot of issues with me with science because of my learning disability that I just had to admit to myself I couldn't do it. And so, if you want to ask me about it, feel free to ask me in the thread, like in the Ravelry group, but I'm not going to get into it now because it's a really long story. But even when I could no longer be that science major, be that scientist that I'd always wanted to be, I could still watch their show and kind of be a scientist in, what is it? What's the word? I can't think of the word. In proxy. Be like a scientist in proxy by watching their show. And that was just something I really enjoyed. And, I still read popular science and I keep up with what's going on in the scientific world. But I'm no longer a scientist. But at the same time, Mythbusters showed that you can still be a scientist without having a degree in science. And, just applying the scientific method to things in your everyday life can actually sometimes be helpful. And so, it's just really sad to see the show go. And I know I've been talking about it for a while now. It has nothing to do with knitting or crafting or anything else. I told you this was a complete tangent when I started it. But, I'm really going to miss the show. And I know they're going to be in reruns. It's not that, like, I can never, ever watch the show again. But I'm going to miss the excitement of, it's a new episode. What are they going to test now? I'm really going to miss that. I'm really going to miss the thrill of having a new episode. Because now, that's it. I can still, like, geek out with Adam over stuff because he does have a podcast that I do follow, though I'm really, really behind on it. It's called, still entitled The Adam Savage Project. It's hosted over at Tested.com, which is an episode he's editor-in-chief of, and it kind of grew out of his love of just geeking out over stuff, and getting into, like, maker spaces and maker conferences, and it just kind of grew out of that. And so there's some really fun stuff over there. You should actually totally go check it out. And, like, Jamie's going back to his special effects shop, and, I'm pretty sure Carrie wants to, like, spend more time with her daughter because, like, she had a kid while they were making the show. And, it's probably been really hard for her to be away from her daughter, these last few years when they were filming and stuff. So, it was a bittersweet moment because, like, I knew that they were happy and that they were doing things they wanted to do, but at the same time, I'm really going to miss the show. So that final episode was really bittersweet. And I think I've chatted enough at this point about a show that has nothing to do with crafting in any way, shape, or form. Oh, right. So another tangent, but I did talk about this a couple episodes ago. Bullet journal. It's here. I have it. It actually says bullet. It's like embossed bullet journal. You can see that I put a tab in March. That's a receipt. So I've actually already modified it a little bit. So bullet journal. I'm going to cover my address. But in the front cover, they have like this key of stuff. And so I actually modified it because I decided I didn't like just the plain dot. But, so I was gonna wait until March, and then I didn't because I'm impatient, and I had it in my hand, so I figured why not. So I started it spa weekend, and then, I missed a couple of days, but I wrote spa on there, and then, I started the Plan With Me challenge, and I've only done 3 days, and I need to catch up, so I'm gonna do that. And then, I set up my March calendar exactly like he shows in the video for the bullet journal. However, I did add a couple of things. I did add a tracker column so that I can track my medications and my vitamins, because I do have an intestinal thing. So I do take vitamins just to help keep my system in balance. And I do have a couple of medications that I do. So the days that there are blacked out are the days that I don't have to take the medication, because the medication I blacked out is these are weekends. These are weekends. And I don't take my ADD medication on the weekends because, you know, if I'm looking for a job or I'm job searching or whatever, you know, I need to be able to focus throughout the day. But like, if it's a Saturday or something and I forget to take my laundry out of the washer for 15 minutes, who cares, right? That has always been my mindset of, I take it on days when I need to concentrate, when I need to get things done. Like when I was in school, I would take it on days I had class, because if I zoned out for 15 minutes in a lecture, I was screwed. But if, you know, it was a Saturday morning and I zoned out for 15 minutes doing my homework, nobody cares as long as it gets done, right? So I don't take it on the weekends. And my doctor has agreed with me. She hasn't pushed me to take it every day of the week. I don't need it. The kind of medication I take does not build up in your system. It flushes out every day. So it's okay that I don't take it because I'm not screwing up any chemistry or anything. So it's actually okay for me to do that. But so I have, like big goals for the month, and then I have like events, like it was my cousin's birthday last week and my mom's doing class. Purim and Easter are really close together. Purim's the 24th, Easter's the 27th. Of course I have St. Patrick's Day in here, the 17th. I have my schedule of things. This is today, this is tomorrow, I have a couple of things. And then I put a tab in that says March so I can flip to it easily. And then I started on March 1st, March 2nd. I have a shopping list that I haven't done. This was my spinning, where like I did the math to figure out how much yardage I'd gotten. And then like that's with some job stuff, and you can read my cursive, like I don't care, it's nothing big. You know, I've been doing pretty good. And then I did a spread of knitting projects that I need to get a move on. So I actually made a list of all my knitting projects, like stuff started before 2016, stuff started in 2016, and then my priority level. And I've actually in March I finished one but not the other and I did them out of order, but the cameo was so close, the cameo was so close to being done that like I just finished it. And the socks for 10 are going fast enough, I'm not worried about it for the end of the month. But after March, I have my Shawl o' Doom is top of the list, because I want to actually finish that. And then I have a receipt from mailing some stuff. I sent some stuff to Sue from the Two Tangled Games podcast, and then to another VKNer. You know, I've been just taking notes. I've been trying to do a daily spread, but then I was really bad over the weekend, and I didn't use it at all on Saturday and Sunday, so you can see that I just put the dates in, and then I skipped straight to Monday. And then yesterday, I was really bad. I didn't take my Adderall. I didn't do, like, anything on my list. Yesterday was like a complete wash, but I just needed, like, a mental health me day, so whatever. And then today, I'm slowly doing things. I actually have finished a few things on here, and I can cross them off, so. And this notebook is fountain pen friendly, so I can use my fountain pen in this. Yay! So my bullet journal's going pretty well. I need to catch up on the Plan With Me challenge. And I actually did join a couple of groups on Facebook. I joined, and I'll link them. They're private groups, but you can ask to join them if you're interested in bullet journaling. One of them is Bullet Journal Junkies, and I know that sounds really weird, but it's just people who are fans of bullet journaling. I also joined, if they would load, so that I could see my list of groups. Thank you, Facebook. Come on.
So I joined the Bullet Journal Junkies group, but I'm also like really I like having pen pals and stuff. And if you want to be like an actual physical pen pal with me, that's fine. But so I joined like Bullet Journal Pen Pals and then the Plan With Me challenge because remember I showed, and this is actually a page I printed out and then glued in with I have this like paper craft glue, just like Downward's Blend Craft Bond, yeah. And it's just for like paper and stuff. It's just an all-purpose glue stick. So I glued in the page to the bullet journal. So I joined the group for the Plan With Me challenge because I thought it would be just something fun to do. And then handwriting lovers because I actually do enjoy writing a lot of things out by hand. That's partly why I'm doing this. And then what else? And then that's it for, like, I did join one group, but I haven't been added to it yet. I'm still, like, my request is still pending, so, you know, but yeah, so if you're interested, I can send you links. I guess I'll just post the links in the show notes. It's no big deal. But I'm going to make a note to myself to post the links in the show notes. I'll post. There we go. Now I'll remember to do that. So, but yeah, I joined the pen pal group, and I'm going to cover her address and my address, but I got a letter in the mail. And she was really cute with the washi tape and, like, the stickers, and, there was a little hello card in it, and, yeah, I haven't, I need to get some nice stationery to send it back. But I haven't read it yet, so I'm going to read it, and, yeah. So that's that. So I'm going to put some pictures from the Mythbusters live show I attended at the end. And I'll probably go find some music online that I can put in safely. And yeah, I guess that's everything. Remember, the VKN is at 8:30 tomorrow night instead of 7:30 because I have book club. And I will see you guys next week. Have a good one. Bye.